Great. So thanks. My name's Dave. I am the program manager for Repowering London. Just before we get into the community level stuff, Repowering is a not-for-profit community benefit society. We were launched started in 2011 by a group of volunteers in Brixton, and we've now grown to have installations in 3 different London boroughs and are talking to more as we go along. The majority of my work is on the decarbonisation side of things, but our strategic goals, and we try and ensure these are built into every project that we do, cover promoting local leadership, building training and employment opportunities, reducing fuel poverty, and creating ethical social investment opportunities for local residents and anyone living across London. Specifically today, I'd like to talk to you about, or going to talk to you about, North Kensington Community Energy, because it is essentially at the moment almost our flagship project. It is what good looks like for us. It was launched in 2019. It's developed and managed by Repowering London, but it's fully owned by its members. Anyone who invests in the project, and I'll go into that in a little bit in a moment, becomes a member of a project. And we also have a £1 membership scheme. So if you can't afford to buy your way in and help support financially the installation of solar panels and renewable energy, you can still become a member. We have a one member, one vote system. So it means that everybody who is a member has an equal say in the organisation, how it's run and what our priorities are. As you can see, the kind of impact there that we've had, and I'm going to explain a few of those in a moment. Obviously, we are about climate change, but one of the key things is also for repowering projects and projects like ours is about building a community fund. So we raise money to install solar panels. Those solar panels create an income, and we use some of that income to generate a community fund, which has to be spent in the local area. It's very easy for local people to access this funding when it's available, and the idea is that everybody in the area can benefit from the renewables revolution, not just those people who can afford to invest. We have 5 volunteer directors, of which 2 are local based. 2 of these 2 amazing kind of volunteer directors who are locally based and very much make sure that NKCE is doing the best for the community in which it's based in. We've at the moment got 12 active volunteers and over 200 members, and we are really planning to build on that. And just because it's always worth bigging up the supporters, you can see kind of who our key supporters are so far. Just getting into those numbers a little bit. One of the main things we do is install solar panels. So in 2019, we installed 83 kilowatts of solar panels on 2 primary schools and a community centre. On the left, you can see the solar array on the Dalgarno Community Centre there. And in 2020, we installed 137 kilowatts on the Westway Sports Centre. So we get solar panels on there. To do that, we raise finance from the local community and from the wider community by doing what's called a community share offer. Solar panels are the hook, and they're how we started talking to the council, and they allow us to do other things. They allow us to do things like run the Repowering Youth Training Programme, which is a 40-hour paid training programme for young people in the area. This is our first cohort. You can see the photos of the numbers. You know, there's 16 trainees. Those who completed the modules all got 5 AQA accredited certificates. One of the things I'm most proud about, you can't see him in the back because he's hiding just here, is a young man called Ajay, who is one of the 2 NEETs who was on the course. He had a qualification in electrical installation, but the only job he was able to get at the point of joining the course was stacking the shelves at Sainsbury's on the midnight shift, Saturday every week. Through working with us, he got some work experience as part of the course with a solar installer, and that led on to further work experience with another solar installer, which led on to him getting his first construction job. And last time I spoke to him, he was regularly getting construction work. Obviously, the youth training program didn't get him those construction jobs. He got those construction jobs, but I'm really glad, having seen his development, I'm really proud to have been part of that opportunity for him to get a toehold in the direction he wanted to go in. And then there's engagement. So from kind of the top left here, you've got a solar panel making workshop where some graduates from our trainee program and I taught a bunch of 10-year-olds how to make a solar panel, a solar power mobile phone charger for community centre. I've never quite known fear like I did when I let a group of 15 10-year-olds run, well, not run around, but access hot soldering irons. In the top middle, you've got one of the flyering sessions we did. We've been flying with volunteers throughout the borough since kind of 2019. To this point, I tried to count this morning. I think it's over 8,000 flyers have been distributed across the borough. On the right-hand side, you've got a volunteer meeting, and I was had a smile on my face because a couple of the faces in that photo are actually here on this call today. The middle line, you've got the borough's first Greener Living Day, which was an idea that came up through volunteers and supported through Repowering. We held this in February 2020, just before everything fell apart. And what we did was invite 12 local groups based in sustainability, not just energy, to come into the same room and share their successes with everyone. That included the council. We had 110 attendees, including the deputy mayor, who you can see cycling a bicycle-powered smoothie maker machine. We had 7 local councillors. We also ended up with a deputy ambassador for Nicaragua giving a talk. And we found it was just incredible to hear where everybody's been working, and to really share that success and to recognize how it doesn't matter if you're working on food or energy or housing, it all feeds into the same way. And I think, you know, I can definitely talk for the NKCE volunteers, but also the feedback we had from the groups who took part, that it was really, it felt incredibly positive to know that we are all part of a larger ecosystem of groups, community groups operating within the borough. Bottom left, we've got our volunteer meetings, which have been continuing throughout lockdown fortnightly. And then the kind of last 2 photos are just to show that the project's been recognised by Community Energy England and Community Energy Wales and the Climate Coalition, where we won Inspirational Community Project and collected the award in Parliament. You know, these are kind of, those are the really easy to log and easy to register impacts. But what's also happened is that we've become a voice in the community. When I walk down Portobello Market, people stop me and say hi, which is always a bit of a kind of unexpected thing because I'm not a RBKC resident. And they share their views. They let me know where they think NKCE should go, and also feed in opportunities. I've become a bit of an agent of change, and I feed that back into the council where possible. I don't have any photos for our future plans, but just want to highlight those. One of the things we're about to do is hire a community champion. So that's going to be a 2-day-a-week part-time paid role for somebody living in the borough. They're going to be working with existing networks. They're going to listen and share as much as possible, and promote climate action, not just community energy, but promote action across the borough and help to build those stronger links. I should add that we're doing that with the support of the National Lottery. We are working with the council to start completing decarbonisation audits. As many of you all know, you know, it doesn't matter how much energy we generate if we're still leaking it out of our buildings. And we want to bring more young people and training through to that. And we're also aiming to build in 1 megawatt of solar panels. I realise that I'm running short on time, so I'm just going to skip ahead because it really is important to share that this isn't possible without the partnerships. And the key partnership we have here is with RBKC Council and the climate change team in RBKC. We share a lot, we talk a lot. Anchor and I, and Anchor's on this call, you know, phone each other and support each other to bring about the goals which we've decided together. Anka's done so much work to also bring her colleagues across the council in, and that would be from, facilitating conversations with corporate property, with children's services, for parks and everyone in between. We've received funding specifically and especially from the Esme Fairbairn Foundation and from the Mayor of London, and doing that has allowed us to work with local anchor organisations and get us in the door, which has allowed us to build events with those groups, which have allowed us to bring in a whole load of community energy. And that's kind of the most important thing, is that we're able to support and encourage those other groups who aren't necessarily getting funding to do more, and they allow us to do more. A quick moment on the why community is important for repowering. This is from the climate change. Oh, I can't remember what CCC stands for. Hopefully one of you will. It's one of my favourite and least favourite graphs. And it kind of says it all. The only way that we are going to hit net zero by 2050, let alone 2030, is with technology and behaviour change. Now, we encourage people to do behaviour change because we are encouraging them to do what they already want to do, and we're giving them power to do that. The final thing, and I'm sorry for running slightly over, Emma, but I will stop in a moment, is just a reminder that there is so much power. There's so much power within the communities. There's so much power. Looking at that, the poll earlier, I agree with the results, but I also know that, having spoken to various people in various groups, that there are BAME communities who are incredibly worried about climate change. There are older people, there are affluent, there are people without any finances. Everybody knows this is a problem. And the main issue I hear is that they don't know how they can get involved. They don't know what they can do, and they often feel that the ways that they can get involved don't create real impact. Whether or not that's true is another matter, but when you give people the opportunity to see their impact and to actually see that the energy they put in creates an output, they give more and more and more. Projects like ours can deliver decarbonisation and social engagement goals for councils and communities, and it only works, NKCE only works with our strong working relationship with the council. We are reliant on RBKC Council to share their aims with us, and also share their resources, to have conversations and to open up. And in return, we help deliver those goals, and we create more. So we never thought that the Greener Living Day would happen, and it came out of somebody's idea in a sideways kind of conversation. It's one of the things that Repowering as a whole is really proud of having done.